Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to review WWE Smackdown. Thanks to Captain Mondo for the graphics, as per usual. He's Byron. I'm Mike. Say hello to the people, Byron.
This week I will be known as Julio Jeffrey Jr.
Julio Jeffrey Jr. Then this is the
No, I changed my mind. That's bad.
the May 23rd, 2017 WWE Smackdown. They were in Grand Rapids, were they not? Am I mistaken on that?
Yeah, somebody said that out loud. I don't remember who.
All right. So,
no, hold on, because that's kind of it's not important. But somebody cut a promo and mentioned it specifically, and it was somebody abnormal that would never have used the city's name, and I don't remember who it was.
Perhaps it will come to us as we do the show.
Perhaps.
So Shane McMahon comes out to open up the show, and I must say Shane McMahon is the only member of the McMahon family who can get cheers at this point.
Correct.
So basically just outlines the Money in the Bank pay-per-view with Randy Orton getting his rematch for the title shot, and introducing the contestants for the Money in the Bank match, which are AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Kevin Owens comes out as well to basically just demand a spot in the match, and he does get it.
Yeah.
But he uses logic, which is good. I like that. It's not just heel demanding stuff. He pointed out that he hadn't in fact beat AJ, so why is he not in the match?
Exactly. Perfectly sound logic, and Shane McMahon was like, yeah, good call, you're in.
I will say Nakamura's pop is starting to already get a little weaker, which does concern me.
They keep giving him the jobber entrance most of the time, I've noticed, so we don't actually get to see the pop, but I think this time it was just abbreviated because we had so many people involved already.
Quite possible. So we'll keep an eye on that, but it is a thing. Couple guys get on the mic, and there's some good stuff here. I like the Rudy reference from Baron Corbin. And we end up with Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin and a tag match for the main event between Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens against AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Holla, holla, player.
This was, generally speaking, good stuff. They had a mission, and they did it. They set up the crowd, set up the main event, set up a big match for later on. 2 thumbs up.
Yep, good segment. Really good. Good opener. It's the best opener I've seen since... I can't even remember. Just very good opener.
Yep, very solid opener. We then had Natty Neidhart and Carmella versus Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Take it away, Byron, if you have anything to add to this match.
I really rather wish I hadn't had to have seen it again, pretty much, is my reaction. It just kind of gave the faces their win back, and that was about it. I didn't really see a point or necessity for it to exist.
Pretty much agree with all of that. I will give it one good thing. Carmella is very good at selling her terror at being stuck in a submission hold. So
very much so.
So while she is a bad technical wrestler, she can act, and I would enjoy her as a manager.
Yep, which she was, and then they decided to try to make her into a wrestler, which was not a good idea. Although, looking back on it, because it's Cass's girlfriend and she used to manage them in NXT, if they would have come up as a trio, I don't think they would have done very well, or not as well as they have done already, not with a third member.
I could see that being a problem, because there wouldn't really be a 3-person tag team for them to really feud with.
The New Day.
Well, but I mean one that can interact with Carmella on a somewhat even playing field.
Yeah.
Just a side note I have during this match is you got Tamina, who was in Team Bad, and you got Naomi, who was in Team Bad, and they had a bit of an altercation on the outside in this match, despite not being in the match. They were the third person at ringside. I would just throw some touchbacks to the whole Team Bad thing. Just, I don't know, it would give a layer to this feud and something to it that is badly lacking.
No, one will never refer to any gimmick that was previous to 6 months ago unless it has direct implications on current gimmick.
I see. We then went to Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin, and this was kind of the Sami got a fluke win and then got completely beaten to a pulp.
I didn't see it as a fluke win. I thought it was a smart win. Like he just kind of
smart win, but what I mean is like quick win without like a proper match.
Yeah, well, quick win's fine. Like there's no other reason to have a long protracted match out of this. We've seen that match. It was a damn good match. You don't need to do it again the next day on TV. I was fine with this. Everything. Sami looked smart and veteran and took advantage of the situation, and Baron Corbin looked apeshit crazy and did bad things. That's really all you need.
Yep. No, I was happy with this. The only thing they kind of took away from it is they kind of did Tyler Breeze and Fandango getting not the same wins, but the same kind of quick, sort of veteran savvy wins later on in the night. Yeah. And I think it kind of a little bit too much of one thing.
They played that differently. They did do the quick fluke win thing with them. They weren't trying to play them off as veterans or anything like that. They just went out there and took advantage of a situation. They blatantly brought out a tub of gimmicks and just kind of messed around with them and blatantly got a hoodwinky, quick fluke win over the end of the situation. So they were same finish, but they were playing it different directions.
Mm-hmm. It's still a little bit overkill, just to me.
I liked it. Actually, you know what I could have done with more? If like one more person on the night would have got a roll up, that would have been fantastic. Just one more, probably.
Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
I like motifs.
We got AJ Styles and Nakamura backstage. This was fine. A lot of Japanese callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
AJ kind of trying to assert his dominance, and Nakamura just absolutely having none of it.
Pretty much. I thought that Nakamura, this was probably the best I've seen Nakamura on the mic in North America. Just, he was given some lines, delivered them perfectly, knocked that out of the park, and then walked off camera.
Yep. Then we had the Fashion Files. I imagine you have more to say on this than me, so go ahead.
Why would I have more to say on it? Here's the Johnny Curtis mark.
I'm the Johnny Curtis mark, but not so much the Fashion Police mark.
I just bottom line, when he said that their day one H, what was it?
Their day one H was more H than ours. Or their day one was more H than ours.
Than ours, yeah. That was brilliant. This the whole thing was great. They put it all together. Everybody, Shane McMahon was great in it. Perfect delivery. When Tyler Breeze went to whip his pants off to get out of uniform, and Shane's like, whoa.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, and the fact that they hauled out the squirt guns in the segment, and then later in the match they used the squirt guns again. I thought it was just like the whole thing was a great story from the beginning of the segment to the end of those matches.
Yeah, pretty much. Then we had the Punjabi celebration, which was a complete waste of time.
Yeah, completely. I skipped the whole. As soon as I saw what was going on, I started skipping ahead, and I would stop every minute or 2 minutes to see who was going to interrupt the celebration, and nobody ever did, and I just didn't go back to find out why. I don't care.
I assume this is trying to play to the Indian audience to try and again this whole Jinder Mahal title reign is about this. I enjoyed JBL's attempt to try to sell it as majestic while clearly not buying his own shit.
Yeah.
So hey, JBL did something good on commentary. I'm amazed.
JBL jobber commentary to the stars.
In fairness, this is not a cultural thing that I dislike this. I don't like heel big celebration things. I'm not a fan of it because
interrupted.
Well, I'm not a fan of it because if you need it, then you probably built up the title win or whatever it happens to be, trophy win, could be a King of the Ring, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
you probably haven't built it up properly, and that's kind of why you feel that you need to put this kind of exclamation point on it.
Yep. Yeah,
And
it's just the fact that they've done this way, 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 way too quickly, and there's no heat on the whole thing means they have to keep throwing it. Not only keep throwing it in your face, but they have to do it for longer segments of time to make up for the time they didn't spend, and they have to do it in a bigger, bombastic way than you're used to seeing for anything else. And it's a giant waste of time when you've got all this wrestling talent on the roster that could be, I don't know, wrestling or something.
yeah, just anything that would be entertaining.
How long did the segment go for? Like 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes?
I think I timed it out to being something like 12, 13 minutes.
Okay, because I just kept.
It felt longer.
Like, oh my god! And then they went to commercial, and you skipped those too. And it was, what the hell?
We had a Lana vignette. She is still hot, and I don't feel any further breakdown is required for this.
Could we get her involved with the pole match as well?
Then we had Jey Uso versus Tyler Breeze. Take it away, sir.
And it's over. I enjoyed it. They played it again. I'm enjoying the comedy stylings, and Tyler Breeze. If you go back to the Backlash match and you see how perfect his timing was with the mop, no wasted movement, no waste. It was like black and white comedy pratfalls from like the early 1900s. Three Stooges, Danny Kaye, Buster Douglas, not Buster Douglas. What was that guy's name? Buster Keaton. I'm crossing the streams. But like comedy timing perfection and no wasted movement, things like that. Same thing with everything that was going on with this match, and the quick finish for the next match was just Tyler Breeze and Fandango being on point, on time, on target, and doing everything completely right.
Pretty much, and I think the Usos did their part in this as well. So
yeah,
it's all good. Then we get a tag match because the Usos agree, basically in their complete anger, to give Breezango a title shot.
They pissed bad.
Which my problem here is immediately that most of this match played out during a commercial break in picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
So like I have the audio for a commercial while I can see the small picture there for the tag match. This is a title match. More than half of it should not be spent on commercial break.
No, there's no reason. Well, to be honest, there's no reason for them to have commercial breaks in any matches. This is your show.
Yeah.
Plan it correctly, you idiots.
Yeah, just
if you gotta
block it out properly.
If you got to go to commercial for 10 whole minutes to just fill time or to meet some obligations, do that. Don't interrupt a 15-minute match with 5 minutes of commercials. It's bullshit. And that's half the reason why I believe that's how at least a portion of the reason why their ratings are dropping is because no one can be bothered to sit through or nobody can enjoy some of these matches that are constantly interrupted. Especially if you're putting them on your streaming service and you're interrupting you have one match on the Backlash pre-show and you interrupt that with a commercial?
Yeah, that's pretty much sums up everything I had on that, really. The match itself was pretty decent. I like the Usos' use of double team maneuvers. Mm-hmm. They're really good at that. They get very good timing. I enjoyed the splash the Usos hit Fandango with, and he turned it into a roll-up. You don't see that every day, so that's good.
Yeah, got the knees up and immediately rolled them over. That was good.
Mm-hmm. That was good. So basically the ending of the match comes when Fandango goes for the kind of lariat leg drop. But I think it was Jimmy hit him with a splash and got the pin on him like directly after he hit the leg drop.
Rainmaker! Oh no, not Rainmaker.
And so the Usos retain their title. If you're going to put the title on the Fashion Police, I think this might have had to have been the moment.
I certainly would have. I mean, you're giving everybody else either callback wins or reinforcement wins on the night from Backlash, then just dude, they're over as fuck. Just give them the titles and let them run with it. And then you can have, you got the New Day coming back. So you could run a program with the Usos very pissed off. Like, we want our titles back right now. And then the New Day is like, listen, we are the biggest deal. We get a shot at those titles.
Smackdown, it's a new day!
Yeah. While I'm not really the biggest New Day fan, I can see that people enjoy them, and I can see why people enjoy them. I just not on that train. And then you get a heel face kind of dynamic, and then you can do like 8 months of Fashion Police comedy timing versus wacky, zany New Day shenanigans, and then everybody goes home happy.
Pretty much. We moved on to I have entitled this segment Shane and the Bitches. Basically, all the women swarm him in the back, demanding title shots. With you know what, I appreciate that almost all of them had some kind of logical reason for the title shot. Although Tamina's was very weak because basically her idea was, you all failed to win the title, so it's my shot. I'm like, it's not really how this works, but
it's not, the absence of evidence is not evidence.
Yeah, there was nothing good in this scene, but at least everything made sense. So I mean, honestly, that's above average for WWE booking. So there you go. And then Shane kind of just basically has the old migraine headache, basically, and goes with, all right, we're gonna have a fatal 5-way for the #1 contender, which is silly because Raw is doing the fatal 5-way as well.
Well, there's other things going on. Apparently, right, like leading up to, including just before they went to air, they were going to announce a female Money in the Bank, and then they just didn't.
Yeah, so instead we're getting this 5-way #1 contender match, and the winner will face Naomi at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, the further thinking is that maybe they're using this fatal 5-way as a test, and if it goes over, then they'll announce it, and then the people who didn't win the match will get to be in the female Money in the Bank match, and therefore will get a shot at the title later on.
The problem is that out of these 5 women, there's only one that's properly over. That being Charlotte, of course. Becky a little bit, but the shine is also off her star quite a bit.
She doesn't do anything. She just loses and then goes spasticated.
Kinda. I mean, Carmella is not really over. Tamina has not been given any remote chance to be over. I don't think she would if they did. I'm just saying. And Natty is not over. So,
no.
I mean, if you're looking for crowd reaction, this is gonna get none.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree. Although I would like to see 6 months of Natty versus Charlotte feud.
Oh yeah, no, Natty is fantastic in the ring. It's just she's been booked into oblivion.
If they don't let him wrestle, then I don't want to see it. I don't want to see a lot of talking. I want to see, God damn it, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. Okay, let's see you in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, you have easily the best wrestling, technical inside the ropes women's division that WWE has ever had. Let them use that skill. Let them do what got them over in NXT.
Yep.
Not that hard.
Nope.
Went to a Brian Kendrick promo. He's doing kind of the taskmaster almost a little bit. I'm trying to teach Tozawa, lessons and so on. And it would be better if it wasn't being done by Spanky.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on the Taskmaster thing. Wow. I buy it from the Brian Kendrick. You're not wrong about the whole Spanky association, but at some point you got to let it go. The guy's evolved.
I know, and I like the evolution. I haven't managed to shake it yet.
Well, I mean, I can't really blame you. It is his own fault for calling himself Spanky.
Kinda, yeah.
Like, did he ever win any titles under that name? Because I can't conceive of... Well, maybe PWG or Chikara would put a belt on him just to have a champion named Spanky.
I can't recall him ever winning anything as Spanky. But he did fight. He did fight for an ROH title as Spanky.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not the guy. You're not going to put a belt on Spanky in ROH. You might put one on the Brian Kendrick, but not Spanky.
Yeah. This is a fine promo. I couldn't really get into it because, again, the Spanky thing. But, like, the content was fine. The delivery was good. It was good. Then we had the main event of the evening as AJ Styles. And I screwed up in writing this down. I put Styles/AJ versus Owens/Ziggler. It was AJ Styles and Nakamura versus Owens and Ziggler.
An AJ Styles mark.
I will totally take that and run with it. So, a couple of good things about this match is Dolph Ziggler's like really heel deal from the pay-per-view seems to have kind of reversed itself a little bit, and he had a little more pace to him, had a little more impact to him, something that he badly lacked at the pay-per-view, to very much the detriment of his match with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, there was still more of that in this match than I really cared for. I mean, they put Dolph... Didn't they put Dolph and Nakamura in the ring immediately together?
That was Dolph and AJ immediately.
Yeah, it could be. Anyway, either way, like, the first 2 minutes of the match was, again, more rest holds, which you've got, 4 of the most dynamic workers in the business today, and I'm seeing rear chin locks and stomps and walking around and more stomps and rear chin locks.
It did definitely seem like a waste of these guys' talents, even if, like, I kind of like cutting Nakamura off and trapping him in your corner, but
Yeah,
be a little more...
do stuff.
Be a little more energetic with it, I guess, just in a nutshell. On the bright side, I would really like to see Kevin Owens feud with Nakamura, and I would also really like to see Kevin Owens have a long talk with Baron Corbin about how to develop his character, because Owens is really good at being a frustrated bully. Like, his facials and his body language and his reaction to when he gets, like, knocked out of the ring or whatever, and like his "you have foiled my dastardly plan" sort of things is really good, and if Baron could incorporate any of that, it would help him immensely.
Yeah, although to me, I'm getting a little tired of Owens doing promos and stuff. It's just getting to be one note and only one note all the time.
Because he's having to talk so much, though.
Like, that is true.
I think this is just more a case of complete overexposure.
They're not giving him any other dynamic to work with either. They're not putting him in a program with anybody. He's just kind of, well, I had one match against AJ Styles. Okay, cool. And now I'm in a program with like potentially 5 other dudes for no discernible reason. Can we talk a bit about how they're putting literally, well, not literally, but pretty much literally their entire roster in one match?
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that point. I mean, Money in the Bank always kind of ends up with this happening, but
well, my thing is that we could have 2 5-star 3-way dances out of this, or you could put literally your top guys in one match.
It did definitely make this show incredibly top heavy, because I mean, there was not a lot of wrestling. Like we've discussed very little wrestling up until this point.
Yeah, I'm a fan of wrestling, and I want to see wrestling. And when I don't see wrestling on the wrestling show, I get really bored and prefer to see some wrestling.
Yep. We go to my pet peeve here, which is I said they cut Nakamura off and were working him over with like quick tags and stuff. The way that Nakamura escaped this was Dolph Ziggler charged into the LED ring post and smashed his knee. I don't know what he was or his shoulder, pardon me, not his knee. I don't know what he was trying to do. Like he just ran into the ring post.
It's the new version of the top rope nothing, is the corner charge nothing.
He wasn't going in for like a knee strike or a drop kick or anything Dolph Ziggler would do. He just smashed into the ring post. So yeah, the retard charge into nothing.
Tard charge OP.
Yeah, so we get the hot tag to AJ Styles. Uh, we do end up with Kevin Owens managing to distract AJ long enough for Ziggler to dump him to the outside for Owens to beat him down. I did like the senton he hit AJ with, but otherwise, I mean, it's a good beatdown, which we've discussed before that Owens is really good at beating you down on the outside, but it just slowed the match down even more.
Yeah, you've got all the like Kevin Steen Owens is very dynamic, and I understand he's trying to be the heel and brutal and methodical, and I guess so is Dolph. But you've got four dynamic guys who weren't doing anything, and they waited until the last 2 minutes of the match before we got to see any action, or 2 or 3 minutes. And it was just kind of, I really expected more.
Yep.
If anybody wants to see what AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura are capable of against each other, go check out Wrestle Kingdom 10 from New Japan. Holy crap. That was a match actually that was methodical, but still awesome.
And I am a fan of like heels working methodical. I'm kind of the guy who has said about Dolph Ziggler he needs to slow down, especially when he's a heel. He's just gone too slow. Like he's overcorrected. There's no dynamicism into what he's doing, and therefore, nothing that he made him popular or worth watching is present in his current character, and that's not good. And Owens also was kind of plotting with his, slow it down kind of thing. There's a happy median here, and this match didn't hit it.
Yeah, like for a while, Owens was being methodical but explosively brutal, and he would just do like crazy high impact things. Wasn't it him versus Reigns at the Royal Rumble? Or was that at a different pay-per-view?
Different pay-per-view, because they didn't face each other at the Rumble.
Are you sure?
Oh, they did, but it was more just Braun Strowman doing his thing.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was him versus Reigns. When he set up the pyramid of chairs?
Yeah. Was that at the Rumble? Yeah. I thought that was the pay-per-view before the Rumble.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure it was at the Rumble, because then later Reigns came out and almost won the Rumble as well, because he just got his ass beat, so why not?
Yep.
Right. Good job. Good booking. But that, you can go back and watch that match where Owens was still doing methodical, but he was being explosive and brutal and quick attacks, and establishing that he was, not going to outpower Roman, but he's going to outmaneuver him in every way, shape, or form. And that's some stuff we should be getting a lot more of out of all of these guys, and I'm seeing a lot of rear chin locks, and I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah. So after they've cut AJ off for a bit, we do get the hot tag to Nakamura. We get a lot of like teased finishers within the last probably 2 minutes of the match, and then Nakamura hits the Kinshasa on Kevin Owens and gets the pin.
The one thing I will say about the match was I wasn't completely bored, and they managed to get 2 hot tags in one match, which is
they did do very well there.
So just from pure technician standpoint, very well done. But I wasn't. It's not one of those matches anybody's going to go back and watch again.
Needs more dynamicism.
As a matter of fact, I might go back and watch the Reigns versus Steen match. Now that I'm thinking about it.
And that's how we went off the air. The just in general, the good for me was the fact that they did set up the Money in the Bank pay-per-view fairly well. So mission accomplished there. And also, this is honestly maybe the most talented Money in the Bank match of all time with these 6 men. I don't think tremendously great of Corbin, but you got Sami Zayn, who I'm a mark for. I'm a mark for Styles. I'm a mark for Nakamura. I'm a mark for Owens, and I got respect for Dolph Ziggler. He just kind of needs to figure out how to get a little closer to what he was, but keep a little bit of this heel mentality he's got. He just needs to find that balance.
Yeah, like I like
that
to see
fulcrum point.
I'd like to see him do more with Nakamura. Apparently, they were working house show matches and dark matches for like weeks before they did the pay-per-view match, which still blows my mind. Like how can you work together like that so much and still have a crap match? Probably just Vince saying, "I need you to go out here and do this," even though it's the wrong thing to do. And yeah, I'd like to see more of that, but I want to see the Dolph Ziggler that I've always heard about and seen clips of. I don't need this. Like, I don't need Shawn Michaels trying to be Diesel, low rent version.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And then the other things is Sammy and Baron's feud is shaping up real nice. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, those
and
really
Breezango is still over, but on the downside, they did not give Breezango the title.
They will. They have to. They're way too over.
And they also kind of really undid their own booking with the welcoming committee deal, because of course, as I understand it, the welcoming committee heels are supposed to be the unified front, and the faces are supposed to be bickering. But in the Shane and Bitches segment, we saw almost all the heels basically bury each other.
Yes.
So, failure. Absolute failure.
El Filio del Grande.
Whereas, as much as Charlotte and Becky were both like, we want a title shot, they also didn't say anything negative about each other. And, they had that nod of respect when they left to, when they got put in the 5-way. It's like, So you've completely screwed up your own booking. Jinder Mahal as champion is going to suck. And
we're going to be stuck with it until at least SummerSlam.
And while this was better than Raw, I will say that doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
So, I guess what we have here is we have a really frustrating time in WWE being fans of wrestling, because we see what the company could be, because there's this fantastic talent around. And we even see really what it can be because we have NXT to compare it to.
Yeah. Also, we've been watching ROH, and we've been watching, you've been watching more TNA, way more TNA than I have. We've seen some PWG, we've seen some New Japan. We know what WWE could be right now, but they won't do it, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
Specifically signed these people based off the strength of their performances elsewhere and what they can do, and they're not going to let them do any of that.
And it just feels like they're kind of trying to nullify it for the competition.
I guess.
Which the funny thing is, since they don't really have any competition, why are you doing that?
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Since they took AJ Styles and Nakamura and Gallows and Anderson, I'd say New Japan's gotten even better.
I wouldn't say no, but I mean, I would imagine that if you put those guys back in New Japan along with the developing stars they have, it's an even better product.
Probably, but you know what? You wouldn't get the Okada Omega storyline or match. You wouldn't get. I don't think you'd have any of the Okada stuff that they're doing now, because they'd have AJ Styles, they'd have Nakamura. But as it is, I think the match quality. I think they'd probably have to like bury Naito because they wouldn't have room. Michael Elgin wouldn't be getting the push that he's been enjoying.
His push has kind of cooled off like a little bit.
Yeah, but they do that to everybody. They're
well, I mean, nature of the beast. You have to at some point cool someone off a little bit.
Yeah, but they've been really good. Like they didn't get all clusterfuck retarded and go right for another Omega Okada match. They're letting that one build until Dominion, and they haven't even really been hyping it until Dontaku, and they didn't. All they did was have him come into the ring and talk shit about Okada and leave, and they didn't have any kind of confrontation. There's been nothing, but everybody wants to see it. I think they played that one exactly perfectly. And if they had Nakamura, Styles at the club, like all those guys, they may just not have been able to do any of this.
That is possible. There's a level of sense to that. Anyways, that was SmackDown. I I sincerely actually hope that anyone who was watching this actually enjoyed the show more than we did.
I didn't hate it. It just wasn't good. Like, I really loved the Fashion Police, that whole segment, but the rest of it, I can't really remember anything other than, man, I can't believe they're doing this again.
That's kind of it. The repetitiveness and the fact that you got, like, the main event's a classic example of that. It's like this match could have been freaking awesome, and it just wasn't. So
that is correct.
That's all for SmackDown.